apparently, that's like in all those survival kits. That's like one of the more hit or miss things. Like either it's really good or really bad.
Tell me
Powdered milk
the
is
chat
wise.
might be
That
hungry.
shit's good. It's better than milk. Milk.
Goose fraba. Everybody relaxed? Everybody feeling the zen?
Well, if you've ever enjoyed like a creamy hot chocolate mix that was powdered, the creaminess comes from powdered milk.
Nice. Yeah, some foods have it in there. I don't know, just drinking powdered milk though. I think it's only us poor
No, you have to
motherfuckers
add water to it first, Trippy. That's why you don't like it.
Well, I meant with water. I think it's only us poor people, you know, who have had to have like government cheese in their past. You know, like we know the flavor of some really
Oh, yeah.
bad
Obama cheese.
powdered milk.
You got that Obama cheese going on.
Oh, this was pre-Obama.
Oh,
This was like
Obama.
George Bush the first, or the old one, the
I was just kidding, like the Obama phones.
George Milhouse Bush.
Hell yeah.
George
See,
Senior.
this guy's smart. You know? Y'all should replace the Furby with this guy.
Well,
Why?
no,
Everywhere.
On the panel
Everywhere
together.
in life.
They're both
yeah,
mythical.
but you'll
Like
never be able
everywhere
to.
that the Furby goes, anytime, everywhere, this guy should go instead. And
Yeah,
the
but like
Furby
if you
should
set
just go.
another one of me in front of me, I'm not going to talk to it. So, you know, speaking of being poor, one time I got a Furby from a thrift store, and I put it in front of a regular Furby, and I'm pretty sure the thrift store Furby gave the regular Furby a cold because the thrift store
I
Furby
think
kept
I'm gonna
going.
go get
"Achoo!"
one in domestic violence to
Also, it
take
called
out
my
my
cat a dog.
frustration.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with the Furby AIDS as well.
It had that.
They're pretty bad.
It had to have because, like I said, it called my cat a dog.
Did you know that there's a Furby
I
language?
forgot about the hair or the fucking
Mhm.
the whatever. All right. I'm out of here, guys. My brain is fucking fried from this Furby. Thank you guys for the awesome time.
You
Y'all
sure
be
it's
good.
just the
He
Furby?
was fried when he came in.
He was smoking
Yeah.
some good something.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Shit, I forgot. Andrew ran.
Oh, yeah, that
Andrew
saw
didn't run. Andrew just had to leave because
guys, I'm not
he had
convinced
other
that any of us
obligations.
have legs.
Sure.
None of us
Actually-
have legs.
Yeah, I might have seen Sarah and maybe
All right, I'm out. What's going on? What's going on? Bryce Gardner, good to see you. Chuck, what's going on? Where you been, Chuck? Maybe you were at Sarah's and I don't know. I wasn't watching the chat much. I've been mostly over here off screen, trying to figure out how to do vertical on this because I'm not even gonna bother trying to retell it. But basically, they're pumping vertical right now, and at the end of the year, something about it'll fuel the algorithm for the beginning for next year. So I'm trying to get some vertical hours in because I've been real shitty about that. Take a little trip with me. What's up? Good to see you. It's Micro. That's not the first time I've heard that from someone. Let me tell you. What do you want from me, dummy? I don't know. Do I want something from you? I'm not sure that I want anything from you. I mean, you could super chat me. You could do that. Where am I at? Are you trying to be relevant or something? You look so desperate. Daughters of Assassins, who are you with your little attitude? Oops, that was the wrong thing. Which little attitude? Well, it's not your first time here. What are you, Mitch or something? How about this, Daughters of Assassins? I was the one who mentioned Furby. What do you mean who mentioned Furby? People have been shitting on Furby all night. I was the one who mentioned Furby. Oh, the topic because of the panel I just came from. You know what? I don't know why I need to fill you in on all this shit. You don't need to give me a damn thing. You can just stay in your confusion. The title of the stream is enigmatic. It will never make any sense to you. Don't even try. I could explain it to you and you still wouldn't understand it. You don't have the capacity to understand it. Your parents never loved you. You're the reason they got divorced. What's up, Nightish? What's up, Daniel Barry? I don't have any plan for this stream. I was just tinkering around while I was tinkering. It's a puddle inside a rizzle inside of one of those Russian nesting dolls inside of Daughters of Assassins asshole. You can stay. I just dropped the link, Daughters of Assassins. Don't go now. And Brendan, I don't know if you obviously have seen me before. I don't know that I recognize your name. But I'm glad you're here nonetheless. What am I at now, actually? I'm like right up against 4,000. I passed 4,000 the other day, but then you know how YouTube, well, maybe you don't. If you get a bunch of subs or a bunch of views, like YouTube adjusts your numbers down the next day to offset for what they consider potentially bots. So I got a bunch of subs legitimately. Well, not a bunch. I got like 60 one day. And it adjusted it down to like 40. So I need 5 more subs to get back to 4,000. 5 more. What's up, NPC? Good to see you. Hear me out. What do we flow state? 2 of my 3 lives hit 2,000. No shit. In 2 days. I officially told Robert Half, I don't know who that is, to go fuck themselves today because I was going full-time influencer. That's fucking banging. That's really good. Christine, I know you don't give a fuck. You've never given a fuck in my life. Oh, it's 1 away now? No, it's not. My studio is still telling me I'm at 95. Yeah, so that's 3.99 thousand. So it'll sit there for the 10. The last 10 it'll sit there. So it's 0.01%, but that's a chunk of 10 subs. I need 5 more subs to get there. Let me change this. And I apologize for the vertical. I'm sure that you all hate it as much as I do. But sometimes we got to do what we got to do.
I bet you won't do anything about it but complain on the internet.
Bet. Right on, Brendan. Vertical is the worst. I agree. I hate it. I've actually never gone live vertically from my desktop. I've done a few vertical streams like when I'm driving, but what the fuck was that? That was
I bet you won't do anything about it but complain on the internet.
it's just some meme that I had and I overlaid it over. That's Mitch's voice. Yeah, they have to push it. I wouldn't do this shit voluntarily. Oh, and that's the other thing. Like links, you can't click links in vertical. So even if you're watching on a phone, you can't grab that. Yeah, the photo is creepy. I like uncomfortable things.
What's
Brian,
that?
welcome.
Thank you. I was from Caucasian Sasquatch channel.
Right on.
Yeah.
He's the dude.
He's funny.
He is. It's
Yeah.
too normally he pops up when I schedule streams, but this one's too late for him. He's
In bed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just talking about how I like things that are
Trying to
kind
get
of
you.
uncomfortable.
You trying to play around with the vertical?
Yeah, I need to get some vertical hours in.
Yeah.
Like here, this is a perfect example of something that's just sort of slightly uncomfortable that I really like.
Your children will be taught combat skills early as age 5 in order to crush the competition when they fully mature. Little Deborah and Jesse need to fire a pistol with precision accuracy while drowning out the screams of the non-believers. Good job.
That was a weird video.
That's what I'm talking about. That's my
What
shit.
the
I love things. I love things that are just a little bit weird and uncomfortable.
I know. Yeah. That's yeah.
What up, big dog?
I'm surprised you didn't know what Robert Half was. That was
No.
like 90% of the joke. It's
Oh,
like
okay. I didn't get it was a joke at all.
no, Robert Half is a major. They're a staffing agency, but I'm on the full-time rotation, right? So I'm just hired out to companies, right? So I'm a Robert Half employee versus being
They're a pimp.
replaced. No. I'm just saying I get paid whether I'm on contract or not, right? So it'd be stupid to quit this job.
So it's a temp agency.
Yes, we mostly fill positions, but I'm on the full-time rotation, right? Because most places only need somebody for like a year, a month, 6 months. They don't want to do full-time hire because
For
it's
an
much more
accountant?
expensive.
I guess I don't know. I've never hired for that department.
No, what usually happens is a manager leaves or somebody right in a higher up position, and they need somebody to just come in and like review what they were doing, hold the shit down while they find a full-time replacement because I'm not available because I'm not going to work there, right? And they can't bring in somebody on board immediately.
So
right?
you're a permanent temp manager.
I'm a permanent utility player. That's a better analogy.
Right on. No, I don't know. These the temp agencies and the head like they normally are industry specific, at least in my experience. So
yeah, you get a lot of that, and that's how I got first approached. But then they said, "Hey, we got this thing called full-time engagement partners. You want to do this?" And I was like, "What is that?" And they're like, "Well, you work for us, but you just go work for them for a little bit." I'm like, "That's a thing? Yeah, I want to fucking do that." So I didn't even know it was a thing. I was like, and they're like, most people don't like it. I'm like, no, I fucking love it because I don't care what the business is doing. I don't care how it's doing.
you don't get bored and you don't get stagnant. And
yeah, right. I'm there like a year and a half max, right? And whatever company policies are going on where they're cutting down like benefits or, cutting out sodas at the kitchen or whatever. Like, I'm like, yeah, that sucks, but I'm not going to be here. So doesn't really matter to me. Or, Q4 profits aren't coming in as expected. Well, I don't got to worry.
Yeah. You're outside of the office politics.
Yeah. It's like the perfect blend for me.
So that's one thing when I was working in quality control, that's one thing I liked about quality control is that I had all the authority of a manager, but none of the responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't have to get those stupid phone calls and first thing in the morning, like, oh, my grandma died again, like that sort of shit. I didn't have to deal with that.
Exactly. So all this shit comes or like through this department that was liquidated. That's where I'm covering. There used to be 4 people. They all quit because the company's relocating. So I'm just kind of covering. So I'm just, maintaining the basis. And then I just get these emails. I'm like, hey, here's this email from this customer. You probably should figure out who's going to handle this in the future and who's going to handle it now, because it's not me. So figure out some kind of system. But I came up to say I got my first hate comments.
So did you? Were you fucking around about your numbers, or did you get those numbers?
No, it was like 8 people on live, right? But after it, I'm saying, like, the first day, 8 people on live. It was like 30 views. I was like, whatever. I was more focused on the lives I did after that with Sarah Boone. But then the next day, all of a sudden, those first streams started blowing up, right? I'm like, why is there traction on this shit? I don't even understand. This wasn't even a good stream. My cat reset the computer in the middle, so it made it a 2-parter, right?
New channel? Was it a new channel?
No, it's my channel.
Okay. Well,
I almost took down the streams because the cat reset, and then all of a sudden it got like 500 views. I was like, okay, well, they're both pacing up, and they went 1,000, they went 2,000, they're about to hit 3,000. But I started getting some of those hate comments that I'd never gotten before, right? Like, just the ridiculous. I did some screenshots, and one says, "Nice." Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so it's a commentary video on a dash cam. Plus, they went through the guy's criminal background in his sentence.
True crime. I know.
Right. So this was his comment. Nice 20-second video, which I can only assume was he looked at the intro. Lol, I see and hear you throughout the video. All I see and hear throughout the video is you running your pecker washer. Holy fucking shit, man. Shut the fuck up already. Your commentary is stupid. We don't need your stupid comments to keep the video from playing. You're not that important as to think we need to hear your bullshit rather than see what the fuck is going on. Maybe shut the fuck up a little bit more and save the dumb commentary to the fucking end. Fucking moron. I make sure to not watch any of your shit again. I'm like, Jesus. It's pretty aggressive. You can just not watch it.
Do you guys have thoughts on XRP?
It's overvalued. Don't buy it right now.
I'm not going to. I sold all my XRP in 2020 because I don't know when it'll happen, but all cryptos it's basically monetized hype entirely. There's nothing.
I sold my XRP at 45 cents. So,
it's a pyramid scheme, brother. So sorry, it's a pyramid scheme. Crypto.
I did make one move tonight. If you want to know, I moved. So I bought Algo 2 months ago. I moved. It's gone up. I just saw it was underbought, right? So I moved 25% of that over to Polygon.
Yes.
Brendan, you're absolutely correct. The haters they're the most dedicated watchers. Shout out to my hate watchers. If any of you are out there, put a 1 in the chat or don't.
Another guy commented on both videos. I'm like, well, you watched both parts, you fucking retard. Like, if you hated it that much, why did you watch part 1 and 2? But back to crypto.
Yeah, no, I just think the comment was interesting. XRP predictions, because XRP is, I sold all my crypto in the end at 2020, and I'm not buying anymore because whenever they bring in a CBDC, a Fed coin, everything else is going to just crash for good.
Bro, you would have been good buying Bitcoin, bro.
You know what? I remember turning down Bitcoin. Somebody wanted to trade me Bitcoin for dope back in the day, and I laughed him out of the fucking house because that was before it took off. And then in hindsight, it was like he offered me like whole Bitcoins, several of them.
Yeah, you set up for life.
Well, it wouldn't have been that much, and it probably would have got, because when I got raided, they took all of my electronics. They would have took that
set
too.
Up for life, but sitting pretty. Well, I felt bad because I got my brother into Bitcoin. I got him in at 40,000. He put in like $5,000, and he did some in ETH as well. I think he invested a total of like 9 or 10, right? And then a few minutes later, the thing crashed. Right.
So the reason that it would crash,
but he didn't sell, right? And then I informed him, hey, just to let you know, Bitcoin is close to 100,000 right now, in case you're trying to sell. And he's like, "What? It recovered?" Yeah, it recovered. So,
yeah. So the question is, why is that new to it? Why curious why it would crash when the Fed coin arrives? The Central Reserve, so the control of the currency is mass. It's like as far as global power goes. That's why the U.S. is the world power and has been for decades. Is because we're the central reserve currency, and every country on Earth really has to use dollars to buy oil. Now, what that allows us to do is export our inflation. When we print money and it devalues the dollar, a lot of the fallout from that, we're able to just send abroad and not feel the repercussions of, because every other country needs dollars. So they want to buy our dollars. However, it's not the same for any other currency. You've never needed pesos, unless you went to Mexico. You've never needed yen. Only the dollar is needed everywhere abroad. So we export our inflation. That's because we're the central reserve currency. Now, to think that
wait.
I'm going
to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you on one thing, though.
Okay.
The difference is you print pesos, you print dollars, right? You don't print Bitcoin. That's the difference. And
but you can.
Well, no, there's more mined, but it's halving, right? There's only ever going to be 21 million, right? But
how do you enforce that?
Wait, no, it's mathematically built into it. But
okay,
what I'm saying is,
how do you enforce that they can't rewrite it?
Because everyone that has a control to rewrite it has a largely vested stake in not having it rewritten.
Because
unless it's a pyramid scheme, right? Unless it's created. Unless it was created intentionally to pull people in. I think they're letting the free market stand up the infrastructure. They want the infrastructure in place for coins. Then they're going to roll out central bank currencies. Once they do, they want people to use their money. They're not going to let the free market just take over the most powerful tool on earth. That'll never happen. So the minute that a Fed coin comes out, they're going to, first of all, that's going to be what's used. So you're going to lose half the value straight out the gate for all the private cryptos. Then hold on, let me finish the thought.
Okay.
Then all they have to do is say, these private coins are only used by criminals and drug dealers. We need to ban them. Boom, they're gone.
Yeah, but here's where that's different. This is what I'm saying. You got Trump now in the office saying he wants U.S. to be the crypto. What do you say? Crypto capital of the world, right? He wants a crypto reserve.
Sorry, start over.
Wait. Trump said he wants U.S. to be crypto capital.
Okay.
Right. So he wants a crypto reserve for the United States, right? So you have the United States buying up crypto. You have all these hedge funds buying up crypto because with their 1% strategy, even though it's 1%, it's a lot of money.
Look, dude, these institutions are not using their own money. They invest money for clients. That's your money. You give them permission to invest it in crypto.
You're talking EFTs, right?
Yeah,
I'm saying,
EFTs, mutual funds, whatever they're putting it into.
Right, but the hedge funds have gone on record saying we're going 1% Bitcoin, right? They're doing that on a long-term strategy. It is
Whose money are
they
using though? They're using someone else's money. I'm sure that they'll get out of the game. Like it's just like the mortgage-backed securities thing. There's a ton of bad loans made, and they were sold off into the market. When the bottom falls out of Bitcoin, it's not going to be these companies left holding the bag. It's going to be the pension holders and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. When the risk level goes up, I sell off, like I just said, I sold off some algo tonight, right? I bought some Polygon. Normally, I would have just left it in USDT, but Polygon is undervalued. But, I mean, if we get to 105,000 Bitcoin, I'm selling off 25% for USDT. I'm taking it back to you, and I'm going to hold it until we get down to a lower risk level, right? That's as simple as that. It's just a long-term game. Maybe it's because I'm more self-control. I don't know.
No, I mean you're playing the market right, I think, but you have to understand that this is not going to be. No one of these coins is going to take over dominance, right? If you think about it like a currency, if you think about replacing the dollar with a crypto,
you're wrong.
No, think about it like power. Thinking about it in terms of power. Nobody in power is going to give up. The Federal Reserve owns the U.S. government. Like you realize that those people work for the Fed. They don't work for us. Because all of our treasury money gets borrowed from the Fed. If the Fed says no, you're cut off, the government screeches to a halt.
Yeah, but at the same time, all I'm saying is in the world, just like as the common man, right? The US dollar is king, right? And in
Correct.
crypto, Bitcoin is king. That
But
name
they're
brand.
not. You shouldn't look at them as
it's the
separate
name brand.
spheres. They're competing for the same space.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm saying, I sure, okay, I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, in terms of crypto, you're saying there's not going to be a dominant player. I'm saying Bitcoin is going to be the dominant player forever.
No, Bitcoin's like the worst one. It's the biggest name brand. It was the first one to come out, but it's shit. It's not good for anything. Look, Bitcoin is good for nothing. It has no utility. It's not backed by anybody with teeth. All it is a cool technology trick that people are getting way hyped up about and sinking a lot of money into.
Yeah, but all it has is a ton of investor confidence. That's what I'm saying. No other crypto has the same investor confidence as Bitcoin.
That is correct. But if you look at it, if you consider like what investing actually is, what you're talking about is gambling. You're sports betting. When you just do market analysis, when you invest, you understand what the underlying asset is that you're purchasing. There is no underlying asset with crypto.
Yes, I understand, but the difference is it is only exiting the market to get back in at a better point. There's never I'm out of Bitcoin. Right?
There's a who gives a fuck about Bitcoin. And
no, you understand. People who get out of Bitcoin and sell it are going to get back in at a favorable point.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think that? Entire market history of Bitcoin.
Okay, which is how long?
10 years? No, okay. 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's look, in order to roll out a central bank digital currency, you have to have a lot of infrastructure globally. I think that, and obviously if you let the private market do it, my God, that's a loud ass door.
Sorry,
motherfucker with some oil.
W40, the door.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, well, I don't go through it a lot.
I guess not. Fuck, where was I? I don't even remember where I was. That thing was so damn loud.
Yeah, no,
You talk about.
You just woke up everybody.
I think you were talking about currency something.
Oh yeah. So if you're the Central Reserve Bank, so let me back up. The dollar, by design, it is structurally temporary, and that's something most people don't understand. For the record, I have an economics degree, and I was a bank officer for 10 years. That matters. The dollar was created.
You're not talking out of your ass, is what you mean. That's what you mean.
I mean, I was just throwing out some credentials because it matters. To
I know,
people.
But most people on YouTube will be like, "Look, I'm an economics major, or like, I have all these. I've done 10 years of research in economics, right? You have an actual degree.
I have an actual degree. I will say that I'm rusty in it. I haven't used it in a while.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
But the dollar by design, the first dollar in existence was borrowed from the Fed by the Treasury at interest. So that means it has to be paid back $1 plus interest. Well, that interest amount, there's not that amount of money in the economy. And so what has to happen is the Treasury has to keep borrowing in order to make the interest payments back to the Fed. At some point, which I think that we're quickly approaching it, at some point, it gets unsustainable. You can't borrow enough to service your debt, and you have hyperinflation, and that's when you need to replace the currency with something else. I believe that all the crypto stuff is us preparing for when the dollar dies, because it is temporary. And
you don't think Doge is going to take care of that?
I don't think Doge is going to take care of that.
No, I'm encouraged. I would like to see what Elon does, just personally. I think there's a lot of bloat in government. I would like to see what he does. That's like encouraging to me, like just from like a bullet point, right?
Yeah, I mean, but so if you think about what would make a crypto stay around, because it's not going to have hype forever. The two things, there's something right now. It's being driven by hype press and by institutional attention. That's really what it is. Institutions are paying attention. The minute they
but that's
quit,
what they've said over and over. There's the bubbles, but it still sustains.
it's dude, you're working with. First of all, it has not sustained. It's back. It's been incredibly volatile. Also,
Volatility doesn't mean it doesn't sustain long-term value.
I've written what's going on in the chat.
Sorry, what's that? Is there something I need to attend to?
What's going on in the chat? Oil is out. Gold is out. What is next is they're going to be replacing it with.
How is gold out? Gold's not out. Out of what? What do you mean?
But not as the number one. That's what I meant. Of course,
as the currency.
Of course, gold still is, but as secondaries, with the primary one being made the American and a few allies military complex, meaning the contract still to Australia and this and that and the other thing. But that is what's going to fund that thing where it's like, okay, our secondary gold or our crypto this or this, okay, they're all kind of backed by these other. They have to be backed by our economy, but it's going to become the military complex of the states that backs the currency that comes out of the states, the one world currency, which is obviously going to stem from America, the eagle.
In order to have that digital currency, though, which is the thing that'll be around that they want, right?
Yeah, the convenience store, yeah.
You have to have infrastructure set up. Like people don't understand, and this is where like actually my background in banking does benefit me. The behind the scenes payment infrastructure, when you swipe your debit card, there's a lot of things that happen at once that nobody has any clue exist back there. You have to set up a lot of payment infrastructure behind the scenes and accounting and there's so much setup that would take place to replace the dollar banking system with a digital coin-based one that they're letting the free market set it up. People will do it for free, right? Private individuals will do it for free. They'll do it better, right? Because you got the competition component. And in the meantime, you can siphon value out of people who invest in it because it is literally nothing. All you do is you set up a little digital thing and then people give you money for it. It's wild. And then when it crashes, fuck it. You didn't give it. There was no asset behind that anyways.
Yes. Why are they trading their dollars into fairground money at Vanity Fair? You know what I'm saying? Right before you come to Vanity
Fair. It's monopoly money.
Wait. Thank you. Exactly. And I don't know why they're doing it. It's the only thing I can figure it out. Well, it's convenient to use in the marketplace. More convenient than, yes, obviously cash. It's digital currency. It's right there. I understand that. And everything is about convenience and speed, especially if you've got a guy at your company crunching numbers and taking time as dollars and then giving it back to you in a well-versed presentation, right? Like,
wait. I'll give you an example, right? Okay, here. And this is a real world example, right? So retailers, right? Or everyone merchants that accept credit cards, right? They pay a fee to the credit card companies, right? Typically 3 to 4%. And there's a bunch of restrictions of like, oh, if you didn't get that chip swiped, well, you don't get paid, right? The merchants are on the losing end of the credit card system.
Yeah, I take credit card payments here through Kofi. It's about 5% of a transaction.
Right. So you got this large percentage transaction, plus you have all these disputed transactions that inevitably, because
I've never had one, but I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. They write it down, right, and it gets rejected, and then the retailer's out that money, right? What you have in terms of a hypothetical, I'm just going to use AMP for example. AMP is a payment network, right? AMP is a crypto network, right? So it bolts onto the credit card system. Somebody can use AMP to pay for a transaction. Now, the network is backed by stakeholders, right? And the stakeholders receive 2% of transactions, right? And the remaining 1% fee or 0.5% fee goes to cover losses on the fraudulent transactions, which are harder on a cryptocurrency network.
How is it harder?
Because there's blockchain information of the person having AMP or not having AMP. Does that make sense?
I hear the words you're saying, but I don't think that it's functionally harder. Okay, do you remember when the pipelines went down on the East Coast like a handful of years ago, and they had to pay the ransom in crypto?
Wait. I'm just let me.
Okay, go ahead. Finish
right. So you've got what essentially, and just take crypto out of the the specific crypto out of the equation for the second. You've got a bunch of private investors investing the security of the network, saying we will cover fraud charges, but because this system has better security, we will do it, and then you pay us the fees versus a credit card system like Visa or MasterCard, and it's lower fees for the merchant. That is a real world example of something that is serviceable by crypto in terms like it could be XRP.
Yeah, but here's where it falls apart when you come to FDIC insurance. There's no FDIC insurance on your crypto. You're basically treating Solana or whatever as an uninsured bank when you store your value there.
Yes.
Okay, but make it like take that example and make it a stable coin is what I'm saying. Like that
stable coins are no more. They just say they peg it to a currency.
Okay, yes,
but it doesn't have any
we're not
more
gonna get
security.
Wait. Just I'm talking broad ideas here, Flow State.
But the specifics are where it falls apart. Conceptually, if you don't look at the details, then sure, a concept works. Oh, this is something that has lower fees and more security. That works. But you got to get into how it works. And
no. I'm not saying lower fees and more security. I'm saying you are incentivizing the public to back the transactions for a return on the fees, and therefore they're going to cover the losses. And it is no longer the credit card companies siphoning off 5% because those investors are going to use that 2% and put it back into the economy. Does that make sense?
Wrong. You're wrong because Solana doesn't own a network.
Well, I don't own any Solana.
I just used it as an example. None of these coins own payment processing networks. They still have to use the existing ones. You cannot. There is no way to pay somebody in Solana without funneling it through a bank. I mean, you could send it from your wallet to their wallet, but that's not a point of sale. There's no point of sale solution there.
Well, I mean, it has to go through an intermediate bank and an agreed upon price.
So this is like I said.
I mean,
but
this is not the system backing that transaction.
It's still dependent on the system entirely.
No, wait. The users are backing that transaction at that price.
The only reason you have other phone companies is because Bell already put up all the and has the workers out there and the guys to maintain it and everything too. Or the other guys couldn't even do deals with people.
That's the wrong analogy.
They have to have their own maintenance crew to be able to go out and fix problems when there's like individual, like when someone crashes their car and hits the thing. It's like, hey, it's like, well, we're not a provider for that.
No, that's the wrong analogy. The analogy to your example would be everyone that pays a cell phone bill, right, has $15 off, and that $15 goes into a collective pool of tower maintenance people that go out and fix anything, and it's distributed. So somebody that has to fix it that month, right?
Yeah, into service.
They're paid their wages by the network, and everyone else who didn't have to fix something, they get a lower. Maybe they get $50 that month, right? They didn't do anything, but they get $50 that month
for being on call. The fact that they be called, right?
That's the difference.
Yep. Okay. I see what you're saying. As a subscription service, that the people that the maintenance men on a subscription. Oh, okay. That was intelligent. I see how that could work.
Right. You pay people to invest. You pay a group of people to invest in the survival of the system.
Yeah. I enjoyed hearing you say that. No, I just mean like that was tasty. That was a tasty thought. That could work. Yeah. That's why communication is so important, right? Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. And right now, it's not really getting done. You know what I mean? Like we're on the precipice of something new, right? And the birth pains of that thing that's new, you don't want to suffer them. So we're trying to navigate it, right?
It's kind of the antithetical of an insurance company, right? So everyone pays their premiums in, right? But you get in an accident, you still have to pay the premium, right? You still you still pay out of pocket. Right. Yeah. Nobody else's payments are lowered.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's like how come that is not absorbed by the group? You know what I mean? It's obviously because the favor rides with the huge conglomerate. The one that's doing the money thing. But I mean,
right?
It should go back to should be absorbed by the group so that it does not go up when you have an individual crash.
But on the other side, because we don't want to have adverse risk, right? We don't want to end up in a quarter where we
let them up our subscription.
Where you have like four drivers that they insured for some reason that have like $40 million in lawsuits, right? And then they go, oh well, we have a loss now. Everyone owes more. Like, fuck yeah, I didn't do anything, right? So they just charge the same. But there's got to be an in between. Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. Before they begin, there's like they have the pool of money to be able to cover everything. So there has to be a certain amount, backing the company, and that's the point, being able to get that much money together to be able to call yourself that insurance company or the house for the casino. You have to be able to back a certain amount of, winnings or claims, right? That's what. Right. That's why I'm comparing casinos to the business, because it's a way we can all think of it. And then when people are driving, individual people, they're at individual risks. I mean, like when people buy a more expensive vehicle, they look at the thing and they have the figures for how often do these vehicles get into crashes and what types of people crash them. And
I'm gonna pay $9,000 a year for the next 3 to 4 years for me and my sons and my wife on insurance, right? Mm-hmm. So we paid $36,000 in coverage, right?
Yeah.
After that period, if I get an offender bender, right, they're gonna be like, well, your premium is $1,000. You owe us this fucking much over it. And I'm like, what about the $36,000 fucking dollars I just paid you? They don't care.
You know that you can insure. I've got my truck insured as a farm vehicle, and
I don't live on a farm.
I don't either.
No, but you can clear the tax. You can clear it when you buy the next one, so you can get the money for the group. The next thing you can write off the tax. That's great. It's brilliant.
Okay, well, how do I insure my sons as farm drivers on a residential property in Marysville?
Ooh,
you can take a farm vehicle on public roads, and the coverage works the same.
Is the Mazda 6 a farm vehicle?
You might have a little bit more trouble selling that.
How about it?
I've got a Silverado. People don't really question when I say it's a farm vehicle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got you.
But that is like the insurance thing, auto insurance.
Yeah,
all insurance.
My relatives
crazy.
all do that shit. Flow state. Come on.
So you're the only goody two shoes that doesn't cut corners and save yourself some cheese?
No, I'm not saying I'm the only goody two shoes that doesn't cut corners. I'm saying all my relatives are dairy farmers in Whatcom County that have farms, and they all do that shit. All of the Camaros and all that shit was farm vehicles for my cousins when I was growing up.
But that's valid.
Yeah, that's valid.
I don't think that's valid. My dad even said this is not legal, but I'm saying
legal is sort of subjective sometimes.
But at the same time, I was like, I don't really give a fuck that they don't pay more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's legal too. You just might have like if push come to shove, you might have trouble with your insurance company like being more of an asshole than normal. But like I've used it. I backed straight into a car in a gas station parking lot because I was not paying attention, and my truck sits up.
What do you do that for?
It's just an airhead moment. My daughter was distracting
just think
me.
about something else.
Look, I pulled in and out of this parking spot so many times that I just backed straight the fuck up. I didn't even think about it.
Use your mirrors and look.
No, I didn't even do that. And there's a good person at the pump behind me, where they were not like just a second ago, in a little low to the ground car, and he's pumping gas, and I wasn't going very fast, but like I didn't floor it or anything. I just kind of started rolling backwards, and the dude's like, "Yeah, I saw you coming backwards, and I thought about saying something. I didn't say anything." I'm like, "Well, thanks, bro." But yeah, it kind of mushed up his little hatchback. It didn't even scuff my truck, but whatever.
Best accident I had was I was driving the boys. This is when they were 5 and 6 in the minivan, and I got a McDonald's, right, and then I was trying to hand out the fries and shit
You fat ass.
to the back seats,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And I'm left hand driving, and I'm reaching the bag, and I'm reaching over, right, to go in the back seat. Here's your soda and all this stuff, and swerved a little bit too far to the right, and the mirror tagged a mailbox. And
Keep on going.
obliterated the mailbox.
Oh
knocked the mirror off.
man.
Oh, the
And the boys-
mailbox bit it, not your mirror. Yeah, Silverado.
The
And then I looked
mailbox
back, my
got
boys
your
were just like
mirror.
gaped, like ghost face, and I was like, "What was that? Oh, somebody must have taken off the mirror. Oh my god! Oh, well, we're not going to tell mommy about that, though, right?"
Yep.
And then I-
See what
yeah, and then I replaced the mirror, and I was like, "Oh, somebody took off the mirror. I don't know what happened."
I snapped off a side view mirror. I was in a hurry, and there's a train coming. The crossing guards had already gone down, and I was moving. I was gonna gun it and go around, right? And I misjudged it a little bit, and I was going. I was going when I realized I couldn't slow down anymore. It was really close. I was going too fast to stop. So I just had to floor it and go with it, and I couldn't zigzag fast enough, so it just snapped one mirror clean off. Those crossing guards are sturdy.
You have no respect for trains. No respect for trains.
It was definitely one of the stupidest.
Yeah,
it's probably
you don't
one
want
of
to
the
get hit
stupidest
by
things
a
ever.
My
train.
grandmother's house had a train track, not even 100. I'm going to say 60 yards from the living room. So the train would come through in Bellingham or Everson twice a night, and would just when you're a kid, it's scary, right? This demon train is coming through. We put pennies out and whatever, but this train would come hauling us through, and I couldn't believe her driveway crossed the train tracks. I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die every time we go across the train track."
I have respect. I have respect for
on the
trains.
train tracks.
What I didn't have respect for was those crossing guards. Those things are a lot harder than I thought they were. But I mean, I was in a Silverado, going probably 70 miles an hour. It was outside of town, so there was no traffic around or anything. Going fast in a big truck with a big steel brush guard on the front. All right, I figured worst case scenario, I'm not getting hit by the truck. I'm just taking out these guards. But
Train guards when they go down.
The crossing guards, like the static, train Xing. There's no stop signs
ding,
and that
ding,
kind of
ding,
stuff.
ding, 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 ding.
Oh, you mean the actual ones with the lights that you just blow through? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, I mean the ones with no lights.
Okay, yeah, no, it wasn't that far out in the country. This had the things, but that's what I was saying. Like, worst comes to worst, I wasn't really at risk. Like, those things were not going to stop my truck, and I was going fast enough that train wasn't going to catch me before I got over. The worst case scenario is I bash up the truck a little bit, which I guess I was willing to take that risk, and at the end, it just snatched a side view mirror right out of there. Which actually wasn't the end of the world, because I wanted to get towing mirrors anyways, and I had just the little regular stock ones. So
wow, it would have flicked it right off, like flicking a.
It was gone. It just snatched. It was the cleanest. It was the clean. It just snatched it right off like it was never there.
Yep.
Yeah, my uncle.
Well, no, I wouldn't be able to see it. It would you just see that flipping there, because it would be invisible when it actually went whack. You would just.
My uncle drove a John Deere across the track when he was, I think, 19, and it was clipped. The front was clipped off by the train. And I still don't understand the story. I still don't understand how he's on the track.
The hood part goes up like
coming.
You lift up like this, backwards like this when you maintain it, because where your seat is, and then the hood goes up like this. That's what it knocked off. Whack.
Right. and he still lives there. He lives in that house and that farm and maintains it to this day. I'm like, dear God, I would not live there for another fucking second. I couldn't.
But he's so lucky. Why not carry on the streak?
He goes across that railroad every day in and out to his driveway, to his fucking house.
Because he can't die.
Yeah, I mean, why? I don't know why you're such a pussy.
How can he come closer than he already did?
He made it through. I ain't scared of that train track that I'm.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not scared of Volvo because we rolled one.
Well, I also question his intelligence of going first gear like across the tracks. Like I can make it here. Like
Which, by the way, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
if you're gonna roll a car, make it a Volvo. That thing was fucking stout. All of us crawled out of an upside down car. Perfectly fine.
We're going out in the country. Buddy brings the car over and he's like, I just finished the payments on it today. Let's go. We hit to the RRs. We're riding fat. We're going at 50, 60 miles an hour on these back dirt roads with the gravel and everything. It's low and it's wide. We're going. All of a sudden, the wheel starts going back and forth. I'm thinking, is he doing this like deliberately to make it go wibble wobble, or is he trying to wreck this thing? And I couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? All I know is that we started going for the ditch, and we took on when that thing caught air, and I'm like, how are we catching going up? But we did. We went up, we flipped, and I'm waiting for but boom, never happened.
What are you doing with your hand? Oh, he was waving by.
Oh. Right on by. Yeah, we went right up in the air and we flipped. And I was thinking to myself, are we going to die? You know what I mean? In my head, because I was waiting for the pain, except it flipped. We landed. And now it was one of those situations where if I'd been wearing a belt, I would have gotten killed, they said. Like my friends, they were like, oh, God, you're going to die. But instead, we all were just sitting there upside down going, are you guys okay? And we're like, yeah. Like, it was fun. You know what I mean? Like, because like we were waiting for the sting, and it never happened.
No, I was just saying goodbye. I got to go to bed.
Bed is for pussies.
Tomorrow night with the sentencing of Sarah Boone, the worst sentencing statement that you have ever seen, ever. She was facing a minimum. She turned down. Wait. Flossy, okay. Just listen to this.
Okay.
She had a plea deal that she could have served 4 more years and been out. She turned it down. And then she was convicted of secondary murder for 22 and a half minimum.
Hear me out. I need to tell you something.
She got life today.
I have to tell you something. I have a confession to make. I don't give a fuck about true crime. In fact, no men I know give a fuck about true crime, except for you.
Do you not understand the craziness of turning down a plea deal that would give you 4 years, and now you're gonna?
Well, I don't know what she was looking at. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane.
Yes,
she's insane. Like for real, and you can tell by listening to her, and that's why maybe it's not that bad. She'll get watched. She'll get the help she needs. She won't kill any other guys and put them in. I feel a lot safer knowing that she's not going to be out.
She turned down 4 years. Now she's serving life. Her sentencing
she's a suitcase chick.
Was the worst sentencing statement I've ever seen of somebody that wasn't already facing life in prison. And we're going to be covering that tomorrow live on Just Hear Me Out. Here we go.
How the fuck? Yeah, no, this bitch is crazy.
That lady?
Yeah. The bitch who turned down if you're being offered a 4-year plea deal and you're looking at life,
it.
Yeah,
just take it, get it over with, and come.
What I want to know is how the fuck she got offered such a good plea deal. That's a fantastic offer.
She should have taken it. That 4 years.
Yeah, by the time she'd
already. That's I would have done if I was doing stupid stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's an example. Their example is she needs to take it, but she turned it down.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, the bitch was crazy anyways, and she was like
she needs to go to the state crazy hospital.
Lawyers, because they all said to her, take the deal. No, I don't even want to go ahead with the trial. No, take the deal. She went through 8 until she found one that would go forward with it, with that deal on the table.
Whoa,
she went through 8 lawyers.
Those expensive lawyers.
All of them.
Man, I hate Vertical. I could teabag both of you right now.
It's funny.
Yeah, you're. This is your first time up here, and you're new here. You probably don't have any idea that teabagging is a thing I do. Do you? Let me show. Let me. I'll play a few of the teabag clips. There's good shit. I don't do it on my own panels
true
though,
crime stuff.
because I feel like it's poor sportsmanship if I because in your own panel you can move people around. I can't properly teabag somebody that way. I have to do it on even turf. Playlist. There it is. I got a whole teabagging playlist. There it is. All right, let me share it. Oh,
big list.
There's about 15 of them, and they're just shorts, right? It's not like full videos or anything, but
right, yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if how can I? Damn it! All right, we're still here, but
spill the tea.
I hate this format.
The vertical.
Yes.
Does he think it brings him any credibility or respect to try to fuck me when I tell
Shut
him
up, commercials.
What man comes in the room and tries to put his nutsack on me?
What the fuck?
Because where I'm from, we don't play games like putting our testicles on the master.
Oh, the teacup.
Yes, sir. And I just snipe unsuspecting a co-panelist.
But I'm a little disappointed you got these simps between you. Yes, I said Jack's a fake guru,
Like I have
which you're smart
zebra
enough
on
to know what I'm talking about. Because you're a smart guy, B. And then what you don't know, B, is Joe was laughing and giggling about.
That's snafu.
Okay.
Why do you think
this is my favorite one?
5 minutes. All right, let's speed through it. Are you hunting right now, Flow State?
I just teabagged Vic.
Oh, okay. So can you not teabag Victor while we trying to have a conversation with the ladies? Very inappropriate.
Me and Vic are having our own conversation, man.
I don't know what to say.
Hey, I can't be down here on the bottom. I can't be down here at the bottom with that talky
It's an old Elvis
here.
song. I'll just
This one isn't working at all on
relax
this
and see what you
screen.
think.
He's not even on his camera.
Where's
Hank? Hank, I
Hey.
need you up here. Attack Chuck with your penis. I'm sicking Hank on you. You think the crew's bad? Wait till you have Hank at your door
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to get a crew to
wearing his yellow hat.
Hank is
With
always
his sports shirt in hand.
Hank dresses for these streams, I think. He always looks very nice, doesn't he?
Oh my gosh, y'all.
Your drunk Saturday
Yeah.
wisdom
Hey.
Yay!
was out there.
Hey,
I heard your
teabag
call.
Chuck. Yeah.
Good. That's gonna be a short for sure.
All right, I'm not gonna put everybody through all these with this format. This format's terrible. I'm sure that most people couldn't even see it at all. I do wanna. Here's one I'm looking for. I got Ben Thorpe on one of them. Oh, this one. Illumitami pulls a gun on me.
What?
You used to be his right hand general, wizard. Fucking hypocrite. Oh,
Yeah, what?
And I know, Paul. I only pull it if I'll use it, and if I see you, I'm using it. You've been warned.
That guy looked like Angry Elf.
That dude is angry all the time.
Yeah.
Because he's
He
closeted.
needs to take the chill pill. Sounds like.
Yeah. No, he's one of them closeted zesties.
It's a shame. He'd be a lot happier.
I really enjoy. I've got the raw clips of a handful of other people I've teabagged that I need to make the shorts out of. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the playlist to the teabaggings for anybody who cares to continue on. Wizard does an appearance. Wizard teabags somebody. Oh, Wizard teabags King Steven, the Sanity Machine, in one of them. I teabag myself in one of them. Yes, that happened. The Sanity Machine, Word Wizard. He tag. Let's see. I get Ben Thorpe in one of them. Premier Hell Deacon. Oh, I teabag Imperious in one of them. I don't think anybody know who Professor Mex is, but yeah. I was pretty pleased with you know what? You guys could see it good enough. I'm gonna play the Ben Thorpe one.
Yes.
Everybody knows Ben Thorpe, right?
Yep, I wanted to see it as soon as you said it.
Come on, internet. What you doing, bitch?
Alex is going to be there.
They're not gonna not want her there. They're looking for her to be there. And we
Betty
made
is
the money.
still dominating the stream? Jesus, Betty.
Still.
Betty, talk Oh, God.
I think I will dominate you like I always
I'll truly
do.
ball watch.
Now you sit down and you be quiet while I talk. And
I'm Jim Bob's
He leaned into it too far.
See, now I got Flo working out for me. See,
Jesus, Betty,
showing me what he could do on a chair, baby. Look at that. He just showed me what he could do on a fucking chair. Imagine what he could do to me on that chair.
Give it away.
I recognize his Red Hot Chili Peppers are like musically gifted. I just can't stand them.
Yeah. I remember watching the Hip Live in Toronto in 1999.
Oh shit, I was muted. Yeah, so I don't know if you could tell. I kind of faded the music back up too fast, but Ben said, and I recognize they're gifted. They're musically gifted. I just can't stand them. And,
no,
so
neither can I.
That's why I was thrilled to see to give him a teabagging to what he hates.
Yeah.
The Premier Hell one is pretty good too. If anybody's seen him, he's come up here a bunch of he's come up here not a bunch of times. He comes up about once every other month, and he's normally shit faced. And I basically always end up getting mad at him and kicking him out.
The Chili's do a high energy concert, but they kind of do it like a bunch of fools.
You fucked up the awkward silence. I like to lean into those. You know what? I stream constantly. Like I stream all the time. There's gonna be an awkward silence or two, and I just let them ride. It's kind of a fun social experiment to see who the first one is that will break it.
I definitely did there. I definitely did.
Yeah, you're the winner.
I'm too new to say nothing. What if he's waiting for me to speak because it's my turn?
I mean it's really an interesting social paradigm people have. Lawyers use it all the time, like on witness stands. If you just let silence hang, people feel that social pressure to fill it, and people end up snitching on themselves. Interrogators, use it. Fuck, I used it last stream on Brick. If anybody saw that.
Yeah.
Silence makes people very uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. And so that they'll give you that small thing to not reveal the large thing because it's the only thing they can think about.
When I was this was probably 10 years ago. Somebody took a restraining order out against me. Actually, it was two people. because they thought I was going to kill them, or at least that's what they said.
Yeah,
and I went to court for it, and I won. And the main thing, like the lawyer they got, I don't know where they got. Well, I do know where they got this guy from, but he was a young lawyer, kind of new. And that's the main thing, because I got on the witness stand in my own defense.
Yes,
and
me too. Yeah.
and I would answer his questions and then stop talking, right? And he was trying like a motherfucker to use the silent tactic against me so that I would keep talking, and I wouldn't. And God, that I get it makes me so happy remembering watching that lawyer look like he was about to cry because it just wasn't working for him.
It's like yes or no is all you get.
For what it's worth, I did win the case, and the protection from stalking or protection order, whatever, where you can't go within a certain amount of feet of them, it was dropped. It was found invalid.
Yeah,
and they're still alive. I never did kill them.
Yeah. Yeah. I do my own lawyering too when I go to Canadian court.
Oh, I had a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was honestly, it probably would have made more sense just to like because I didn't be around these people really much anyways. I should have just left it in place and not worried about it, but it gets kind of it can mess with your ability to buy guns, for instance. And back then I was buying guns. So
no, and the thing is, it has a tendency to not just be the last thing that gets put on you, or whatever. Like if there's no recourse to that, because it kind of says to them, "Hey, we can do what we want,"
and it flavors police I suspect it would flavor police interactions in the future if they go and look and they see that there's a protection order there.
Yeah.
Actually, the way I found out about it was then this is how good people complain that there's not universal background checks, because there's because you're able to do private sales between non-vendors, right? But the background check system you have to go through to buy guns through a retailer is so good that let's see, they filed the protection order paperwork that day, like 3 hours earlier. I hadn't been served yet at all. I had no idea there was a PSA or a protection order against me. And I went to buy a gun and the thing flagged me for delay, right? So the system knew that I had the protection order within a few hours, well before I had served at all.
Wow. So much so that it goes to the store, a miscellaneous store or like a bank, but like if it's banking, but if it's for gun stuff. So as soon as, there has this been issued, even though no crime has been, of this person committed or charged with, found guilty of, but we're going to go ahead and issue stoppage of you purchasing a gun for a moment or two because it's just,
the store didn't,
by the way.
It probably is. The store didn't know why they were flagging me. They don't tell them, but the FBI knew about it because that's who runs the system, the check system.
I don't know how I feel about it. So I'm sitting here on the fence. I could argue for or against it, at this moment, because I need to see more stats or, what I'm saying, right? More information, because it doesn't sound horrible, for there to be, if somebody did go in and say, for there to be a pause on you buying for 24 hours or whatever,
Yeah, the dude, actually, the guy.
But not totally, you know what I mean? Only for you to clear it up, like just being like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
But then you did, right? Like, how long was that? How long were you?
It was a few weeks. It was probably about 3 weeks before the court date, because that's the way, for anybody who doesn't know, that's the way that if somebody submits a request for a protection order from you, it's initially at the time they file the paperwork, it's put in place, a temporary one, until you can get to court, and then the judge decides if it should actually be put into effect more permanently than that. But it's it's under a month. I think it was like
that's what I was gonna say. That seems within like what I mean, like I said, I do my own lawyering, right? And that would seem to me within limits of, hey, you can't just do that. Oh, that's within the time, I would think it would probably be within 90 days would be a limit on something like that.
I think it was less than that. I think it was within a month. I think that I was in court within 3 weeks.
30 days. Right on.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me that they would put that 30-day limit on it. It's like, okay, yeah, but it can't extend beyond that. It makes total sense, you know. In Canada, I could see it being longer, but I mean, we have so many rules for gun ownership anyway.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. It the gun dealer, I'd bought guns from him before. He knew me, and my things always came back fine until that day. He's like, you know what? It's probably a glitch in their system. I know you. I've sold you a bunch of guns. I'll just go ahead and sell it to you, and I'll just rerun your thing in a few days. You can go. He went ahead and sold it to me. Like that night, he called me. He's like, okay, so you got declined. You had like, but anyways, yeah, it all worked out because I did end up getting approved for it, and
yeah, exactly. And it disappeared, and he was like, yeah,
he just sold it to me a little bit early.
Well, yeah, exactly. Which technically, like you said, because two people are allowed to do a private sale, you know, he can do that thing.
But
like
he wasn't. He had his FF. He's not allowed to.
Okay, he's not allowed to say that I'm private, right? And now
he had his FFL license. He was a gun dealer. He's not allowed to make a private sale to me.
Right on. Okay, that's what I didn't realize they couldn't. Yeah, now I do because you said that. But yeah, it's because I'm Canadian, right? And we have a, you know, in the States it's by state.
Flo said, I'll pay you $25 to play the link. I just sent an email. I'll convert you to true crime as 4 minutes. You've got a deal, motherfucker. I thought I heard my phone vibrating, but it wasn't sure. Maybe it was my dildo.
I'm a little bit more into crime since I've done my own, like you know, the past couple of years I've done my own lawyering, and so I'm a little bit more into court stuff, but and that's where stuff's going too. You know, just seems to be trending.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I kind of enjoy it if I start getting into it. The thing about true crime though is like true crime fans love that shit, and it's basically all women.
Yeah,
and him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to state out of my mouth. I was going to say it's all women, you know, and they really noticed that. And Call Me Chris and whatnot. She started up a channel, and she's very popular. She goes out with Umpaville or whatever, right? She went right into true crime, murder, mayhem.
Which email address did you send it to? Oh, did you? Okay, I got it. All right, let me pop this open. No, is this it? This came through. Did you send it off of T-Mobile? This is like a text to email thing, and it says it's a text document. Hold on, I'll pull it up on the computer and see if that works any better. By the way, if you're not subscribed to me, I probably need 2 more subs to hit 4,000 again.
Oh, really?
Yep. Okay, I got it.
Right
on. Not the 4,000. I got this.
Oh.
Damn, you sent this I don't know how the fuck you sent this file thing. I don't know how you got
something.
It came through an email, but he texted an email to me, and it's in a text or a .txt file. And like it just, I mean, like just the whole thing is fucking loopy as shit. Just email me a link next time, bro. You owe me $30 for this shit. Now I've got to convert it to a Word document so I can copy and paste it, because apparently TXT files you can't copy, even though you can highlight it. This is goofy.
You know, I put out a professional album, you know, a couple years ago. It's been on radio and whatnot. My friend took the song and, you know, just put a little sunset along with it. I put it in the private chat if you are stuck for something to play. You know, you don't have to.
Okay.
You're stuck.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not gonna be around here long. I'm going to bed. But I everything is for sale around here, including me. So I'm about to play this video. It's 4.5 minutes long, and then after that, I'll probably send people off somewhere else. So you're welcome to stay. Welcome to dip down, however you guys like. I do appreciate y'all joining me for this impromptu short stream. Bryce, come back again. Normally I don't do vertical, and I have open panels that go longer and get a little bit rowdy up in here.
Yeah.
My Cash App. Hold on.
I went over your live about this crazy yelling. I'm like, what the heck is going? I put
Good.
somebody comment. I put a 2 now. You saw that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, this is as big as I can get it. That's what she said. That's what she said.
I've seen that video. I've seen that guy before. I've seen that video.
So today we're talking about Sidney Meacham, the psychotic lunatic that decided to make a series of bad decisions. He was sentenced, and I think his sentence is ridiculous, especially I think you'll agree when you see his criminal timeline. June 10th, 2023, downtown Portland.
Oregon.
Let me pause it real quick. Hear me out. You actually have a very good narrator voice and cadence. Like you're I don't know. I would not expect this to be like
YouTube video before.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect this to be like one of your first videos. I don't know, maybe
that guy was insane.
All right, we're gonna watch it.
And Sid is obviously very mad.
Oh my God! Like the fucking train.
So he's talking to his mom. Obviously, we can already tell he's on some kind of substance. He's under the influence because, hey, moron, we can hear your mom. She can hear you, which means you're on your speakerphone or your Bluetooth for your car. Why are you holding the phone up to your head?
Huh? I'm stuck on the fucking freeways all over the place. They got it all blocked out. The Lloyd Center exit, the Convention Center exit, every motherfucking exit.
For those who don't know, the reason he is so mad and the exits are blocked off is because today is the day of the Grand Floral Parade in downtown Portland, which, you know, I'm not from Portland. I'm guessing it's a big thing. It's a parade. The reason you block off the route for a parade is because vehicles and humans don't mix. I mean, we know one incident where that happened and didn't turn out well, right? Daryl Brooks. Just look at him losing his goddamn mind over the fact that the exits are blocked. Now, I know you don't like traffic, but is this a measured response? You showed them, Sidney. Hey, how's the volume on the video, by the way? Is it too loud? Or in comparison to my voice, I can't really tell. Just tell me if the video needs to be higher or lower. All right, so he's merging on now. We got all these signs going here. Lull in the activity for a second. But you can see up here, you've got a little flashing arrow sign telling everyone you got to merge to the left because this exit is closed. Right? But how's Sidney going to get to brunch? Right? Well, no one can stop Psycho Sid. He's going to get there. He's going to get it done. Thank you, Sidney, for having 3 dash cam angles for us. Okay, let's hit those cones. We're past 60 miles an hour right now. And here's the first... I think this is when, look on his face, this is when he realizes, oh, there's more than cones. Most people, I think, see the sign here, the 2 dump trucks here, and the cones you just blew through. Okay, maybe I should
they're working, you
pump
jackass.
the brakes, not Sid. What do you think Sid's going to do? Sid's going to get to that goddamn brunch no matter what. All right, Sidney. Yeah, mount the ivy. Right there. Keep going. Nobody puts you down. Yeah, drive around those vehicles. Totally normal. Also, the part here, I think I see a little smile on his face. And I did this in a little slow motion. Right there. Almost, right? A little bit. His frown. He's chronically frowning, right? But his lips are curling up at the side, right? Okay. Now, what's this, Sid? Oh, 2 more trucks. I mean, you've gone through cones. You've driven up the side of the Ivy, around 2 dump trucks, city trucks, and I don't know how you haven't got at this point. You need to stop. Let's see if he stops.
Hey, my cat jumped on the reset button again. This happened last time. So 1 second here while the computer's spooling up. This is another great experience.
That guy. I seen the full video of that guy.
I'm getting too much money.
Hey,
There it
I've
is.
seen that guy before. I've seen that video before. I've seen that guy.
That was hey, that was good. Hear me out. I appreciate the support. Hold on. Let me drop some bombs on you. And I'm not just saying this because you buttered me up with money. I think you did. There you are. You're just in time for the bomb. Dude,
I've seen that video. I've seen that video.
You did good. We know you've seen it before. You hear me out. You did fucking good with that video.
Oh, thank you. Well,
yeah,
but some people told me that I didn't know how to speak, that I was just using my what'd they say? Pecker cleaner.
Your pecker cleaner?
Yeah, well,
my pecker is dirty. Hold on, let me drop.
When you hear the sirens or anti-aircraft guns, you must get under cover at once. You're in the open with no cover, lie down. The most important rule of all is never to stand staring at the sky. If you don't take cover, you may get hurt.
But for real, like I got the request and I clicked on it for Cash App after I tried finding it, and it brought me to a list of like 100 flows. Right? I sent you an email. Just tell me your Cash App name and I'll send you money. Okay.
You already sent it to me.
Okay, good.
Hey Flo, thanks for having me up, brother.
Hey, thank you for joining.
All right.
Anyone
I've seen that guy before on YouTube. That
After
guy
that
in Portland.
yeah,
I've seen that.
19 minutes after that.
And thank you for coming up, Bryce. Come back again next time. I'm shutting down. Say that again.
I said after that 4-minute with the cat hitting the reset, there was another 19 minutes of the part 2. I called it the cat collusion.
I dropped your link in the main chat so that people can go check it out. Yeah, I agree with Lou though. You're a natural at that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm a natural at using my.
I mean, you're like you just had good timing. Like you're just good at narrating that. Normally, most even now, so there's something really awkward about talking to a camera alone, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, I still find it uncomfortable. That's why I prefer streaming, because I'm interacting with somebody. Talking just to myself is really weird feeling. But so most people's, especially their early videos, are really like, like the volumes are off and they stumble over things. There's a lot of ums. Their brains go blank. Like you can just sort of feel the learning curve happening. You sound like you've been doing that for a minute.
I didn't even have a script. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go live. I'm not delaying anymore. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. No, that was great.
All right, so you're good. You got the.
I'm trying to figure out where to dump these motherfuckers.
No, you got it.
What? No, yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay.
I just nice guyed myself out of $30 more. Yep. I appreciate you.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Low State.
Be good. Check them out. And if you're watching, and if you are not subbed, if you're somebody who's watching and you're not subscribed to Flow State right now, and you're leaving me 2 subscribers away from $4,000, you, sir or madam, are going to hell. That is what people get sent straight to hell for, is leaving me without reaching 4,000 subs. Probably gonna actually, that little spiel is probably gonna cost me a sub or 2, especially if Christine is down there. Dump him in your tummy. TML, are you streaming right now? I just set him to go somewhere else, but if you're streaming right now, well, if you're streaming right now, you're fucking up because you're over here. All right. Hold on, let me see where we're at. 3-9. Look at this. Look at that. $3.99. You got to get me off of the devil's number. Upside down is 666. Face. Welcome, Kaloum. Shalom.
Can I know like your most? Oh, nice to meet you. My name is Christopher.
I'm not shaking your hand. What's my most traumatic experience? I don't know, but I know what yours is.
Yeah, it'll be not subscribing to Flow State. That's fine. I see what you guys are doing. You're trying to keep me here longer. Grinding for that extra sub, that one last sub. This song is appropriate right now.
But everyone else is an asshole. I try to forgive, I try to live and let live, but everyone else is an asshole. And everybody else thinks of no one but themselves, and no one wants to help because they're all assholes. And every friendly chat is the knife in the back for a sneaky attack waiting to happen. I try not to mind, try to be so kind, but everyone else is an asshole. I try to let love rule, but I feel like such a fool, cause everyone else is an asshole. And they're out there even now, trying to mess me up somehow. They won't stop it now, cause they're all assholes. And they're planning while I sleep, and even as we speak, to start when I am weak, cause they're all assholes. Everyone else is an asshole. Everyone else is an asshole. It's time to defend. I know I have no friends. Everyone else is an asshole. I've got to get them first, cause worse has come to worst. Everyone else is an asshole. But they put the blame on me, pretending not to see that I just want to be free from these assholes. Well, I couldn't take that shit, so I tried to deal with it. And now I look a bit like an asshole. I tried to be nice, I tried to live my life, but everyone else is an asshole. I tried to overlook, and I tried to close the book, but everyone else is an asshole. I tried not to talk shit, but I just couldn't help it. Everyone else is an asshole. They called it assault, but it really wasn't my fault. Everyone else is an asshole.